Hello world, with time here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. Today I'm on my not so mobile platform and I'm going to be starting a bit of a building tutorial and messing aroundness of my Nexus. As you can see, I am in my Nexus age in all of its sandy glory. Too bad there's not much of a beach, or else it'd be a good day for this permanent sunburn. So, without further ado, I think we should start our system. Now, there are a few things that we have to make sure we know to better understand what we're actually building. What we want is something called the Nexus. The Nexus is a system in the Mist Live version called Uru, which there's a terminal that you go to, you select a book on the terminal, and it will revolve and select a linking book for you to use. Now, the version I am going to be doing is something very gigantic, so just this little platform may not be enough. It might need quite a bit more to be compact as possible. I'm not sure if this will all be in a single chunk or whatnot, but that's not really what I'll be focusing on. So, what we'll need to do is have some sort of centralized linking book stand that will want every single linking book to go to. We'll need some way to bring the books into the stand, a filter, or a transposer could work since it is a lot less expensive, though I don't have that on me, and we won't need to worry about that as of now. So filter for input into the stand, and an output. In, out. In, out. Pretty simple. Now we can cover it up as need be, though that's not what we'll need right now. And of course we're going to need to have tubes coming out of them. And there we are for now. Now we'll also need some sort of red wire to go to here to actually pull the item out. So if we take a white wire from our alchemy bag over here, I'll keep this one out since it has everything I need. A white wire to go here, which will be accessed later. Okay, now that we have our main book, we'll need to have somewhere to put all of the other books. So what we'll need to do is since we want it compact as possible, to put them all in a single row. And let's put, for demonstration purposes, only 3. We'll want these all to be in a single row, with items being taken out from this side and being put back in this side. It's probably best if we focus on one cell for now, since if we do too many at a time, we might mess with it and make it very obfuscated, which is not something I want to do this early in my development. Now I'm gonna just get a few covers and get a cover down here for later. What we'll want to have is some system, since this is going to be pretty one wideness. What we'll want is to have it be able to have a redstone signal go to this filter right there, and at the same time have a signal go to this filter and every other single filter to cut its destination off. The reason we would want to do that is because if we have like thousands of filters all in a line or however, we'll only want one destination up at a time. So what we'll want is to have some wire go into here and one go into here. This one, when it's powered on, will pull the book out and go into this tube system to go into this linking stand. And to make it the only valid destination, we'll have a string of NOT gates powering this. When the NOT gate is powered by the signal that goes into here, it will open up this filter, allowing books to go back in, meaning that it will be only valid destination if this is the only signal being controlled, turned on, however you want to say it. So let's put a few of these here for now. We can hide them later, but we won't focus on that. Got that. And we have a bunch of tubes going this way. There. Simple enough. So we'll want a signal going in here, signal going in here also, and I think we'll want a back plate here. And to have some sort of bundled cable to go in to all of them that will be in a line. I need more room, you know. Bundled cable in a line. So if we expand upon this, since this is only one block wide, it should be something like this with a NOT gate here facing that direction. Now also, we'll want to have this one be able to sense when you want to send the book back to its desired location. So you'll have to have some sort of signal to tell it, hey, I want to go back now, can you send me back? Which will be what this wire is for. Now for a small setup, it's probably not a good idea to have it the same colored wire. We can put that as a black wire instead, and it will do the same feature though. For small 12 book or 15 books, I think up to 15 books, you could have some sort of pressure plate here, I think, wired up to a pulse former and such, so when you step off of it, it will send it back to its desired location. Though I don't want to obfuscate it too much this early in the system, so let's go back quickly and get a few more stuff needed. Just a simple NOT gate, and there we go. So that's a simple one cell setup, but having only one cell is not very productive, so we should focus on putting more than just one cell. So I'll expand it to 2 cells. 2 cells, give me room. 2 cells, so 3 cells rather. And it's pretty much the same exact process. You just have to make sure you put everything here. Orange, orange, NOT gate. There we go. And I believe the third one is magenta, if I am not mistaken. As you can see, magenta is going to be the wire we're going to use to call the overworld linking book. Now, as you can see, none of the destinations are now valid. So if this gets taken here, let's explain that afterwards. So when we flick the magenta will turn on. The filter would pull this book since there's now an inventory there. It'll pull it, go through, and into here. So let's do that. It will be a slow process since it is a paperback. Paperbacks can't go really far, you know. And we have our overworld linking book here. Now if we travel to it, I don't want to yet because then I'd kind of be... I'm not even sure where this overworld linking book takes me. Probably to Tyrace. I don't really want to go to Tyrace right now. So if I... As you can see, the book is here. And if we look here, only this destination back to its original stand is open. Then when we flick this switch, it will go back to whence it came. Seen here. Slowly now. Yeah, take your time. And there, it's back to where it was. Now, what if this toggle latch was not powering the magenta wire? It's not a valid destination anymore. So when we pull this, it's going to be stuck inside the filter and cannot go anywhere until a valid destination is chosen. So it's very important that we don't mess it up with, say, a white wire and have that white wire go on, because then it'll go to the white location, which is why these NOT gates are here, to make sure that doesn't happen. Now it could be a good way to make sure that you get everything in the desired locations. So for instance, I can flick this switch, switch it to magenta, and then flick the switch over there. But if this space is already occupied, obviously that will not work. And off you go. I'm going to expand this system to like 15 books and change that to black wire. Maybe wrap it all in bundled cables, though that won't be necessary. And I think this could work. Though if you have multiple linking books, it becomes quite a hassle to have to go to like a gigantic switchboard and where's the overworld? Overworld. Not good. I can't find the overworld. Which is a real problem in a decay world, since if you're trying to get to the overworld and the place is decaying around you, you're more likely to break into the control system and try to find the blasted overworld book. Which could be a problem if there are multiple overworld books. That could be rectified using a computer. So what I'm going to do is expand this to 16 and get one computer and two I/O expanders and see if I can get this system to work nicely with the computer. I'm going to show you the code when I am doing that, so you have nothing to fear. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Okay guys, I'm back. As you can see, I expanded it to 16 different colors, and I have 16 new descriptive books. Now hopefully I don't get another stack overflow because of this, so probably before I enter any of these, I'm going to make sure all of my expensive items are either not in my inventory or are in an alchemy bag. I'll keep my main linking books back to the overworld though, just in case. Though that's not what we're going to do right now. What we're going to do is start writing our program. A program to handle this, but be able to handle a lot more. This program probably will handle around 4,000 separate linking books. And it's all because of these I/O expanders. As you can see, this one is set to number 4, whereas this one is set to 3. For some reason, ID 0, 1, and 2 do not seem to work. I have no idea why, but when I set it to those, well, for 0 and 2, when I set it to those and try to type in like 1 IOX exclamation mark, it doesn't do anything on the expander. However, for ID number 1, for some reason when I type in 1 IOX exclamation mark, it freezes up the entire system, which I do not like. So what I'm going to do is pull out a blank floppy so I can save each time and start doing some coding. Now I've got a code here, and what I want is to have this computer be able to read in either two things. One, be able to read in a number, to be able to set it to the appropriate expander and the wire. And number 2, I want it to be able to register a linking book name and have that set for a number. Now that's going to be done with variables, but I'm going to type in 2 variables that I will need right off the bat. I will need to put a variable for the address, and I will need to put a variable for the wire. Now the problem with having a single number is that it can only go up to a 16-bit number. Let me put that into perspective of why 16 bits isn't really necessarily enough. 16 bits is what encompasses the wires. The wires can fill those 16 bits with its number. So, and the address of the expander itself is 8 bits. So the only way to fit all of that into one number is to encode the wires to only fit 4 bits. So instead of having this 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, etc., what I'm going to have it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 15. And if you know what the bit system is, that only is 4 bits. I'm not going to focusing on the actual encoding, but I'm going to show how to decode that, because it's assumed that when you're encoding a book to be a specific number, you will already know what that is. So what I'm going to have is do a new word, which is decode. So the only way to really decode it is kind of like a lookup table. So you'll have to duplicate the number, compare it to 0. So for white, since white's number is going to be 0, you have to check if the number is 0. And because of how it consumes the numbers, you're going to have to duplicate the number each time so it can be read again. So dup 0 equals, if it's equals to 0, you want to have 1, else. So this line itself basically says if you read in a number and it's 0, it actually means it's 1, meaning this wire. Now try in a few lines, it will make a lot more sense. For instance, when we go to the magenta wire, dup 2. 2 is going to be magenta. Equals if, and magenta's normal number is 4. So we just have that. And if it's not enough, we have 3. 3 is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, light blue. Light blue is 8. And then we continue onwards on this. Now it's going to be boring just watching me type. So I'm just going to type everything, do a few tests to see if it works. And if it does, we can continue onwards. Be right back, guys. As you can tell, I cannot bloody type today. Fun. Now, because of how the numbers are handled, I had to do a if drop, then the number, to drop the number that's at the beginning. Anyways, and make sure you have 16 thens, because there are 16 if statements. If you're missing a then, it could be problematic. So this is the code, the last decode. For decode, I'm just going to leave it up for a few seconds before continuing on and checking by debugging. Okay, it seems like all of decode works. So what we should focus on now is our call structure. Now, since we have this set to what I have my structure as is pretty much there are, as you know, there are 16 bits in the number, as illustrated by that. What I want is to have the last 4 bits register the number, that the wire that I'm going to do, which is then decoded to use IOX whatever. I want the middle 8 bits, though, to register the address of the system. And currently, since the first 4 bits aren't going to be used, I simply multiply the address that I want by 16 to get what I want. So for instance, if I have the orange, which is 1, and an address of 4, 16 by times 4 is simply 64. Add 1 to that, and the number for the book at that position is 65. To decode that, I have to use the call command to decode it. Not cell, call. So what I have is the number, which is multiplied by 16. To get that, I have to divide by 16. What the heck is that? Stupid French keyboard. So what mod /mod does, it divides it, and it has the remainder. The top of stack is the division, and the bottom of the Nexus stack is the remainder. So in this case, the first item on it is the address. So let's put that in our address location by that. Then we decode the last 4 bits of it, and it'll expand it to the wires one that we put in the wire. Then we take the address and set our IO expander to that address. Then we take our wire and turn that on. And then we end it. So for instance, we have that number 65 earlier. If it works, it should take our second book from this, which is here. And slowly but surely, it will bring it to our stand. I do not want to go in you yet, since I am worried about death. Death is bad for my health. And if you look at the filters quickly, only the orange one, because of the NOT gates, is open on the output end. Let's keep it simple and say this is the output end and this is the input. Apparently it's raining. Thank goodness for deserts. Then again, a lightning bolt could hit me. I'll be extra careful. Okay, so we have that, but we want to be able to send it back. And this is the reason why I put the address and the wire in the memory. So if we do our send function, we have to know which address is this expander. It's address 3. We'll keep that as the default. So for our send program, we'll have 3. We'll set it to 3. We'll take it, put a delay. Since the filter needs 4 ticks to actually operate, it's either 3 or 4, but 4 just in case. We have to do a delay of 4 ticks and then reset it. Now, the issue is how long it takes for this to go down the tube before you can call another one. Because if you call another one, it'll reset everything. So for this delay, I think we're going to do, 10 seconds is enough. If not, let's try 15 seconds for fun. 15 seconds, 300 ticks. This will be modified later depending on how fast your system is, which we can get to later. We have to turn it back to the address of our I/O expander here to be able to turn it off to allow linking books later. And that should be good. Now, I'm going to stop myself because I think I see a possible better solution. No, I don't. Okay, I'm going to have that and send the book. So if it gets there in 15 seconds, it will be good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Yep, 15 seconds. So that was a very close call. And unfortunately, that means that this system needs to be a lot faster. The only way to make it fast is to accelerate a bit. And the only way to accelerate it is to pour in quite a bit of money into the system using accelerators. We need obsidian and blue alloy ingots just for one accelerator. Now the reason you'd want accelerators is since this system is completely stackable with all of the I/O expanders, it can go like, it's only 3 high, so you can just have it go on and on and on. Say like a height of 30, that means if you have a height of 30, you can fit 10 of these in, which is quite a bit. But the only way for it to be viable in terms of speed is for you to have it use mag tubes instead. Mag tubes and accelerators will make sure that this all goes fast way over here to here, like under 4 seconds if it's at there. I tested on another system prototype that I was doing earlier. So 4 seconds to get there, that means only 4 seconds back. And if you have a big enough system, 15 seconds is easily enough. So let's check if let's put a variable instead. Say we want to name it age 90 instead. So what you'd have to do is declare the variable age 90, put a number for age 90, we had 65, declare it. There we go. So what you need to do is then do age 90 at call. It should then change that age 90 to a 65, decode it appropriately, and send the book to our stand. Huzzah! Huzzah! It's here! And then we simply send it back. Send it back. And it works. So I think that's pretty much all that I can cover right now. If you'd like some pointers on how to do coding or whatnot, you can leave a comment or PM me using YouTube or the Minecraft forums, however you want, and I think I might be able to give you some pointers on using Forth. I do have a link in the description for a good Forth tutorial for people who are still struggling with Forth, so I'll post that and it should be adequate. Now I'm going to mess a bit with the design, maybe put a bunch of accelerators and have a power plant to power all of them, do a speed test of if it happens to be way down there, how long it takes to get up here. But that's not something you need to see. Well, that's all for this episode. Way of Time, signing off. Have a wonderful day. Are you enjoying yourself? Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe for future videos. I upload every weekday, so share our adventures with your friends. Bye, guys.